what is his political legacy going to be?
Well, let me just start. Let's like for the younger members of our audience, we'll do a little history lesson. That Barack Obama call, very interesting in the context of the 2008 presidential campaign, as you and I reported in the book that we wrote about that game change. Very important moment in Barack Obama's ascent was the moment when Harry Reid in 2006, Obama still a very young, only had been in the Senate for about a year and a half, Harry Reid calls him up to Capitol Hill and sits down and says, you should run for president. It was a very big moment that gave a sense to Obama that the Democratic establishment that everyone assumed was all behind Hillary Clinton was in fact looking for an alternative, and it was one of the first moments when he thought, hey, you know, maybe I could actually do this.
It's possible Obama would have run without Harry Reid's encouragement, but it's possible he would not have.
Yes.
So that's a huge legacy. The other thing I think he leaves behind is he plays by his own rules. He doesn't care what the press thinks. He cares what his constituents think. He cares what the Democratic caucus thought.
Right.
But otherwise, he didn't really care.
Yeah.
And there were times, like, for instance, in the 2012 campaign, when he started to put out word that Mitt Romney hadn't paid federal taxes and claimed he had this great source, where anyone else in politics would have bent to the criticism of how dare you go on the Senate floor and engage in this. He didn't care. And I think there are a lot of politicians today who would help themselves and their causes if they were more like Harry Reid and just said, look, I'm going to do what I want to do. I don't care about the criticism.
Well, and it's weird. He seemed like a kind of an archaic guy. If you ever got to meet him, you would see him. He seemed older than his years in some ways. But in that moment, he understood modern media dynamics as well or better than anyone, that you could actually pay, in the middle of a presidential campaign, you could make baseless, unfounded accusations and pay no price, but consume a lot of media cycles, distract Mitt Romney, and be a real thorn in his side.
He was old school in terms of using his power for his state. Yep. You know, Yucca Mountain would never would be built as long as Harry Reid was a senator. Yeah. He did not want nuclear waste shipped from all over the country to his state. It may happen now. Yeah. It's a huge loss for the state, and he was able to, within his own state, keep support amongst Republicans. The Republican establishment, a lot of them supported him. Yeah. Part of how he got reelected because he did stuff for his constituents, and that's a big part of the job, a big part of his legacy.
Yeah, absolutely. A whole bunch of pork.